Hello, beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro Cheryl. And this is your monthly forecast for November 2025. Okay, we're already at the end of the year, but we're still in Scorpio season, and there's a lot of Scorpio energy out there. So there's a lot of reveal. You know, Scorpio is mysterious, but the revealing of the false truths are coming out in the open. So just be aware that, you know, the untruths, the lies, the underhanded hate is showing up. And that way, that energy can be dealt with. We have a full moon that's coming up on the 5th, and it's a super full moon, and it's in the sign of Taurus. And Taurus is about agriculture and about finances. But here in the U.S., we can see the breakdown of our governmental system and the those people who are in need of extra help for food and subsidy. So that is opening up and crumbling out into the open. But then on a personal note, those who are those people who have been deceitful, deceiving, and out to hide their feelings towards another person is coming out in the open. Okay, and that energy that's coming out has to be dealt with. Okay, so that's the purpose of it being shown. That's why the veil is thin now, so that each individual can see what it is that you're doing and what it is that has been done to you. Now, those people who have been done to, you'll get to see how this karmic energy plays out, because all of that negative energy that has been thrown at you by, you know, people you don't know, is being returned to sender. Okay, and it's once it's returned to its sender, it has to be dealt with. Okay, so anyway, as I said before, this is your monthly reading for November. Now, as we get into the month, we have Mars entering Sagittarius on the 4th. And we have that super full moon on the 5th. And Venus moves into Scorpio on the 6th. Uranus is retrograding back to Taurus at that 29 degrees on the 7th. And Mercury turns retrograde in Sagittarius on the 9th. Jupiter turns retrograde in Cancer on the 11th. Mercury turns retrograde, I just said that. The new moon in Scorpio is at 28 degrees, and that's on the 19th. And Saturn in Pisces is stationing direct on the 27th, and then Mercury turns direct on the 29th. So with all of the retrogrades that are happening now, this is turning you inward to look at those areas in your life that needs to be refurbished or cleansed, I will say. Okay, Now, a lot of you may not be ready to face your fears because that's exactly what's happening in this Scorpio energy. It's a lot of fear-based energy that is showing up. But when you face your fears and you deal with what it is that's coming up for you, then over time, you'll be able to take a step up in your vibration. So, with all of this energy happening, especially with Uranus, it is like an electric energy where things happen all of a sudden. But while it's in retrograde, it won't act as fast as it would normally act if it was in its forward motion. So I just want to say that those people who are out there who are trying to hurt, cause pain, trauma to another person, all of that is coming back to you. And a lot of times people cannot take what they dish out. They can't handle it. So are you ready to handle what you are dishing out? That is up to you. And now it's time for me to get into the forecast for the month. So I will see you on the other side. Hello to my beautiful collectives out there. Welcome to my channel, Astro, and this is your monthly forecast for Aquarius rising. Okay, so we're going to get right into the forecast because I did do an intro and spoke a little bit about the month. So we'll just fall right into the forecast here. So we have a beautiful trine starting out the month with Mars in Scorpio trining retrograde Neptune in Pisces. And this is happening in your 10th house of public reputation and career, and your second house of money, self-worth, and possessions. All right. So Mars is in Scorpio, Neptune is in Pisces, both water signs, because it's going to be some emotional energy, but trines are like a gift. It's like easy to work through, and Scorpio has a tendency to be intense, okay, and it digs deep for the truth. So this influence creates emotional release and transformation, making it easier to act from a place of compassion and deeper understanding. It softens the intensity and obsession of this influence, okay? Which is good because Mars and Scorpio could be intense, allowing ambition to be driven by your idealism and your intuition, which can aid in creative or spiritual aligned professional pursuits. And this is that Neptune and Pisces energy. It promotes forgiveness, healing, and seeing situations as they truly are with honesty and vulnerability. Okay? So just enjoy the time here. So we have on the 4th, we have Mars moving out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius, right? Yeah. And this is happening in your 11th house. And your 11th house is about large groups, organizations, social circles, your friend groups, and your membership affiliations. And this is in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is freedom-loving, optimistic, higher belief system, and independence, excuse me, as well. So, this is happening in your 11th house. So, you may feel motivated to take a leadership role within your social circles or networks, advocating passionately for what you believe in with a broad minded and spirited and adventurous spirit, okay? You may be inspired to explore new experiences socially and intellectually, rallying others towards your shared visions or causes. Your eagerness may cause you to be, it may cause you to overcommit or become frustrated if progress doesn't meet at your fast pace, okay? So patience is required here. Excuse me. Then on the same day, we have Mars and Sagittarius in an opposition to retrograde Uranus in Gemini in your fifth house. Now, Mars is in your 11th house, and Uranus in Gemini is in your fifth house of joy, creativity, um, your inner child, your hobbies, your romantic um, opportunities, and much, much more. But, you know, with Uranus, Uranus is all about fast-paced energy, and it strikes all of a sudden. So you're never expecting what happened when Uranus strikes. And that's the situation with Uranus, but it's in retrograde, so it may not strike as fast as it would if it wasn't in retrograde. Okay? But again, this is an opposition. And oppositions are a tug of war, and they're meant for growth. So there is some changes that may have to happen with this opposition in our lives if the degrees in which this opposition is happening is in our chart, okay? Or somewhere near it. But anyway, this transit creates a clash, and it can bring sudden, unexpected disruptions that challenge your current routines or beliefs, urging a need for freedom and independence. It encourages impulsive, reckless action driven by the desire to liberate yourself from limitations, okay? Because Uranus want, it's about the collective freedom. Um, Freedom of choice, you know, having the freedom to be yourself. This can lead to rash decisions, breakaways from plans, or confrontations. This is like Mars energy. Uh, if your emotions run high, because Mars is hot-headed, and it's in the sign of Sagittarius, and they're both fire signs. So yes, impatience and being hot-headed is, you know, that can be real. So, I don't know if I said this before, it can lead to rash decisions, breakaways from plans, or confrontations. Yeah, if your emotions run high, I did say that. This transit also fosters innovation, rebellious spirit, and breakthroughs in areas of freedom, travel, or intellectual pursuits. It pushes for sudden radical change and upheaval. Okay? But again, it's retrograde, so it may act in a, you know, slower motion than it normally would. So on the 5th, we have the full moon in Taurus, and this is happening in your private sector, the fourth house, your house of family, um, your, you know, your physical home, your private space, your ancestral history, um, real estate, and your family. Okay? So this full moon encourages you to slow down, and connect deeply with your inner self and your private life, emphasizing comfort, security, nurturing your emotional well-being with Taurus here. Okay, Taurus is a fixed sign and it likes status quo. It doesn't like to change. It's time to release outdated attachments or patterns related to your home life or family dynamics. You may be reflecting on your personal habits and emotional patterns, aiming to transform defensive or hidden aspects into your awareness and growth. Great. Okay, so we have on the 6th, we have Jupiter in Cancer making a beautiful trine to retrograde Saturn in the sign of Pisces. And this is happening in your 6th house of work routines. Did I talk about that yet? And your 6th house represents your daily routine, your work, your health, being of service, and your co-workers. Okay, and Saturn is in your 2nd house, and this is the house of your finances, your self-worth, what you value most, and your possessions. Okay, so during this influence, there is beneficial long-term growth that can be achieved by integrating your optimism and nurturing your actions with careful, reflective planning and responsibility around your personal resources and your work routines. Okay? So that's on the 6th. It's a trine, and just act accordingly. This should be a feel-good moment, but at the same time, and at not the same time, but on the same day, we have a square, which is creating conflict, okay, and tension. And this square is with Venus in Scorpio and Jupiter in Cancer. And this is happening in your places of work, your public reputation, and your 10th house is about your career, and your 6th house, your daily routines, your activity, your health, and your work and co-workers. Okay, so here they're both in water signs, so there are some emotions happening. This influence creates tension and requires integration. By learning to manage your career ambitions with practical attention to your health and service, and balance your emotional intensity with optimism and care. See, self-care is required here. It can challenge your idealism, helping you to ground your goals in realistic and sustainable ways, okay? And grounding, Venus rules Venus rules Taurus, okay? And so that grounding energy is available. Now on the 7th, we have Uranus retrograde in the sign of Taurus, and this is also in your 4th house of home, your private space. So during this retrograde, you may be reflecting on your feelings of security and your emotional patterns. You may feel an inner awakening or disruption that may lead you to question traditional family roles or your emotional conditioning. Okay, it encourages emotional liberation and authenticity, pushing you to shed old emotional baggage and establish a more independent and true sense of self in your private life. Okay? So on the 9th, we have Mercury. Oh, Lord. Mercury retrograding to, it's in retrograde, but it's in the sign of Sagittarius, and this is in your 11th house. And we already spoke about the 11th house, right? Large groups, your hopes and wishes, um, your membership affiliations. So you are advised to double check details related to social events or collaborations. Be cautious of gossip or backbiting, okay? No, that's a no-no. And use the reflective period to clarify your dreams and the social networks that support them. It's a time to embrace patience in communication and prepare for changes or delays in collective or social projects. Now, with Mercury retrogrades, there always are delays, okay? So that's why it's a time to revise, review, rethink things instead of trying to move forward. All right, so on the 11th, we have a divine number 1111. This is a spiritual number, and it has something good to offer. And in this case, we have Jupiter turning retrograde in the sign of Cancer. And this is happening in your sixth house of health, daily routines, and your work, okay? So you may be reflecting on and refining your health, your work, your service, your daily habits that causes you to be overly concerned with the minor details, okay? This can bring delays, struggles, or conflicts at the workplace, such as late or denied promotions and work stress. There may be chronic health ailments or issues related to blood circulation, diabetes, or even stress, okay? It's possible that you may be victorious over your enemies, and an increase in gains from work through your financial savings may be challenging due to overindulgence during this time. Okay? So, Jupiter is overindulging things, and it also has because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, it also has that risk-taking component to it. So just be careful, with speculation. Now, on the 19th, we have a new moon in Scorpio, and that's in your 10th house of career. During this influence, your emotions related to your career and reputation may surface strongly, and your drive to achieve recognition or build a legacy can be intensified because that's Scorpio energy. This is an ideal time for setting clear ambitions, taking control of your professional path, and embracing transformative changes in how you present yourself to the world. Okay, so this is a good idea because Scorpio is a control energy as well. But if you use it in the right way, then it could work to your advantage. And in this situation with the new moon, taking control of your professional path is that good idea. Okay, so on the 22nd, we have the sun in Sagittarius, and it's in your 11th house. And the sun is about the ego, okay? And again, Sagittarius is freedom-loving, independent, expansive, and enthusiastic. And if I didn't say optimistic, I'm saying it. If I did, I'm saying it again. Okay, so this transit encourages you to engage more with your community. It's in the 11th house. Join new social or hobby groups and collaborate towards shared goals. Okay, this energy brings a sense of adventure, optimism, and philosophical exploration to your friendships and long-term goals. You may feel a magnetic pull to expand your networks and participate in collective efforts that align with your ideals and visions for the future. Okay? That's Sagittarius energy. So we have Saturn on the 27th, stationing direct in Pisces in your second house. So this influence encourages a disciplined, practical, and responsible attitude towards money and resources. And yes, Saturn is about restrictions, okay, limitations, and taking things a step at a time. Because at the end of the, process, Saturn really wants you to build a strong foundation. Okay, so let's see. You may find yourself balancing your idealism. You may find yourself rethinking your idealism about wealth, learning important lessons about the true value of money and your self-worth beyond your material possessions. Yeah, so, you know, are the things you value your material worth, or is it something more like your having a safe place to live, being around people you care about? That is just, values. Um, so anyway, on the 29th is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and that is Mercury stationing direct in the sign of Scorpio in the 10th house. So 10th house is about your public reputation, your career, your authority figures. This transit is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is strategic. It encourages strategic thinking, research, and honest, disciplined communication about your career goals and reputation. It may lead to revealing important truths about yourself and your surrounding, and it may lead you to address, your power dynamics and how you make calculated moves to advance your public standing. So just food for thought. In your 10th house, you can be calculating, okay, if you need to, because sometimes we have to make some decisions about change or what it is that we're going for. And when we do, we have to create some kind of plan. And that's what this strategy is about with Mercury in your 10th house. So that is it for you, Aquarius rising. And until next time, bye for now.